My 10th anniversary is coming up and my kids are getting old enough to be a pain in the butt regarding our single bathroom. So I've been saving up, and for my 10th anniversary, I'm getting a bathroom installed in the basement. I am going all out. Well, as all out as I can afford. I'm getting a 2-person tub with jets, in-floor heating, and a heat lamp so my wife can dry off and stay warm. Anyways, the issue is that my brother is having money problems. He called me and asked if I could spare any money to help him out. He has a tendency to live beyond his means. We have similar jobs and salaries, but he has a massive house with 3.5 bathrooms. He drives a $150,000 truck that he will never use to tow, haul, or go off-road with. His wife's engagement ring cost as much as my motorcycle. My family lives in a bungalow my wife and I bought. It was built in 1956 and it's cozy for 2 kids and us, but my mom constantly compares our lifestyles. She loves showing people pictures of his Christmas decorations and stuff, and she shares his vacation pictures, that sort of thing. The bathroom budget is $25,000, but it will probably go higher when the contractor starts working. My mom is backing him up. She says I don't spend any money, so I should have some saved to help out my family. She says he might have to sell his truck or downsize his home. I told her that was really not my problem. He makes a little more than I do a year, so he should have some savings too. She said he needed to have a bigger house to entertain and impress his way up the ladder. That might just be my interpretation. I don't want to lend him money, watch him waste it and disappoint my wife. She deserves a bathroom where she can take long baths without the kids or me interrupting her to use the toilet. I could cut corners and lend him some money, but I really don't want to do that, even if it means he has to sell his stuff. Am I the idiot for wasting my money on a stupid bathroom and not helping my brother? Boo-hoo, your brother may have to sell his truck. Maybe your wife can cry about it in her new tub. Not the idiot, and truthfully, screw him and the rest of your family. Let them open their wallets if they want to bail him out so badly. Your savings are yours and you don't owe anyone a loan or gift, since it sounds unlikely he'll be able to pay you back. Exactly. Don't think of it as lending because there's no way that money will come back, and you'll still see him hosting big parties and going on lavish vacations. Now that he has his money for bills, he can use the money he makes for more fun stuff. I recently completed a 2nd bathroom renovation, which was worth every penny. Your family wants and needs a 2nd bathroom. You should be spending your money to improve you and your family's living situation with a 2nd bathroom. Your brother should downsize his truck or spending. Yeah, the first thing your brother should do is downsize his truck. He has a $150,000 truck. That's absurd. It's beyond time for your brother to learn to live within his means, not his and whatever he can bum off you and other family members. It's too bad he can't just sell a bathroom to you. Sounds like he has too many. I don't get why family members think they have any right to ask OP to cut corners on his own family to help someone living above his means. None of this is OP's problem, and it's not OP's fault that Mom values his brother's pretensions more than OP and his family. It gives strong, tell me you have a favourite child without telling me you have a favourite child vibes. So brother literally makes more money than OP does, and she wants OP to bankroll him? If Mom wants to help out the brother that bad, let her loan him the money. No, I already know. She doesn't have the money to do it, therefore, but he can sell his wife's diamonds. Everyone has to do stuff like that when there's a money crunch, so why should he be different? Stick to your guns and make your wife the happiest lady within 500 miles. I, 29 female, am a single mother to a toddler girl. I have some trauma. I'm in therapy to help with this, but it's a long process and I still have struggles that I need to work through. I work full-time and have my daughter in a daycare program. She's become friends with a little boy in her class and has been asking me for weeks to set up a playdate with him. One day when I picked my daughter up, she brought her friend to meet me. As I talked with the kids, the boy's mom showed up to pick up her son. She introduced himself and said that her son had been asking to get together with my daughter and asked for my phone number so we could set something up. I told her my daughter had been asking the same thing and gave her my number. A couple of weeks later, she texted to set up a playdate at an activity centre. Both she and her husband showed up with their son and they seemed like nice enough people. The dad tried talking with me, but I think he could tell I was uncomfortable, so he ended up just walking around with the kids and I talked more with the mom. After that, my daughter kept asking me to invite her friend to play at our house, so I texted the mom to set up a day for her and her son to come over. But on the day of the playdate, I got a text from an unknown number. It was the dad. He said that his wife had a cold but that he could still bring his son over to play. The idea of a man I didn't know coming into my house almost gave me a panic attack, and I told them we had to cancel and that I would prefer if any further communication came from his wife, not him. I didn't offer any explanation. He just replied, okay, sorry to hear that. A few days later, I texted the mom to try and reschedule the playdate, but she was not receptive. Instead, she told me that she and her husband were very offended by how I responded to her husband. I tried to explain to her that I just didn't feel comfortable with a strange man coming into my home and that it would be fine if she brought over her son. Still, she told me that if I'm going to view her husband as some kind of creep, it's probably for the best if we don't socialize. I told her that our kids are good friends and we shouldn't deprive them of that, but she replied, they can play at school, they'll make new friends. I was venting about it to a friend because obviously my daughter is upset and I'm pretty mad about it too. I told my friend that I felt like this couple was punishing the kids because the dad couldn't get his ego in check. But my friend told me she can't blame either of them because no wife wants to feel like their husband is viewed as a threat, even if it's only implied. Now I feel like my daughter is being punished for something out of her control and that both the mom and dad overreacted to a very reasonable boundary. You are the idiot. Do you realize your daughter is being affected by you, right? Not this couple. Your trauma is starting to affect your kid and that should be a huge wake-up call to you. But instead, you're acting like these people are the reason your daughter is being punished. No, that's on you. You're allowed to have your boundaries, but they can too now. You made them uncomfortable. Reasonable boundary. Does she not realize men make up half of the population? And not only this, but children take in how we react to everything, and it becomes their known way of life. The daughter will not understand why her mom is fearful. Still, it will affect that part of her daughter's relationships with any male, a work colleague, friend, boyfriend, etc. Even if OP said, oh, I'm not comfortable being alone in my house due to past incidents, how about we go somewhere public like the park? I feel this would have been a better way to interact. My heart breaks for the dad in this scenario. It's super hard in so many kid-friendly settings for dads to be included and accepted. I've seen my partner be ignored so many times. Having such a harsh response would bump up my anxiety levels so much. Do I give off bad vibes? Would my kid have more friends if I were a less involved dad? Besides that, you are essentially demanding his wife perform all the parenting duties for your comfort. OP, what you're doing to your kid and other parents is unfair. Are you saying your kid couldn't have friends if their parents were a male couple or a single dad? What happens if they have a male teacher? Really reflect on what you want for her future. I wanted to take my kids to see my family, but as that required international travel, I needed my ex to give me permission. He finally agreed on the condition that for every day I was out of the country with our kids, I owed him 3 days to do whatever he wanted with them, even if that meant I had to be there too. I owe him 15 days and he wants to take them to Portugal. He expects me to go with them, but I really don't want to. I've been trying to renegotiate with him, but he said I can't change the terms after he's already given me what I wanted and that I should have expected this. So I assumed he would want the kids to spend overnights with him for the days, but I didn't think he'd want to take them abroad. I told him I wasn't going yesterday, so things have blown up between us. From his perspective, it's unfair that I can go abroad with our kids and he can't. Our youngest is a young toddler, and we both agree he shouldn't be separated from me for 15 days, which is why he can't take him yet. I did mention that he could take them once our youngest is older, but he wouldn't accept that as a compromise. He outright said I had no choice and is using the fact that our oldest is excited to go to guilt me into backing down. His compromise is offering to invite his brother and his girlfriend if I'm too scared to be alone with him, which isn't much of a compromise. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, you need to consult your attorney. This requiring 3 days for every 1 day you have the kid is BS. And there's no way I'd travel to a foreign country for 2 weeks with my ex. I'd never expect anyone to do this. Please consult with your attorney and have adjustments made to your parenting plan that outlines international travel guidelines and whatever else you didn't think of when you first wrote it up. You should be able to do this through mediation. Lawyer was my first thought too. The fact that he wants to take the baby abroad is absolutely beyond me. The older kids will enjoy the trip, but the younger one won't even remember except via pictures. OP, your ex is clearly a manipulator and a garbage person. He's being an idiot on purpose to get back at you. It's absolutely unreasonable to demand you travel internationally for weeks on his whim. I suppose you could be faulted for agreeing to this to begin with. You should never have agreed to the unreasonable 3-for-1 deal or to the whatever he wanted part. Still, he's so out of line you shouldn't feel guilty. You might bend a little, let him have the undeserved extra time you agreed to, but don't fold for that piece of crap. I, 27 female, have been at my current company for about 2 years. I like to cook and bake, and my roommate is obsessively a healthy eater, so I usually have a lot of leftovers, and I always bring them to the office. About a year ago, Denzel, 29 male, was hired. He and I hit it off right away, and within a few months, people were joking that he and I were work husband and wife, which I thought was super funny and cute. Denzel is already married and we have great chemistry, but nothing has ever happened between us. I wish, lol. At first, Denzel seemed to like my baked goods, but then I noticed he'd stop eating the snacks that I'd brought. I asked him why, and he said he and his wife were trying a keto diet. I decided to make some keto snacks so that Denzel could still partake, so I made a batch of keto muffins the next week. Denzel didn't try those either, and when I asked, he said he was trying to lose some weight. I said he didn't look like he needed to, but that I'd try to make some healthy snacks next time so that he could partake in my food without compromising his diet. He told me I didn't need to make anything special on his account, but I found a recipe for low-calorie keto scones, and I made and brought those in a few days later. I also forwarded him information regarding fitness and calorie counting apps that he could use as a resource. Another worker, Megan, who's friends with Denzel and his wife outside of work, took me aside and said that I need to stop pushing food on Denzel, that I was making him uncomfortable, and that it made it look like I was interested in him. She threatened to report me to HR if I didn't stop. I was shocked, and I tried to tell Megan that I was just being nice and trying to accommodate everyone when bringing treats to the office. However, Denzel never said anything about being uncomfortable, and reporting me to HR seemed like a massive overreaction on her part. I'm so confused now. Am I the idiot for offering food to co-workers and trying to accommodate Denzel's diet? You are the idiot. Learn to read a room. Denzel is married. Denzel has another woman trying to feed him who does not take no for an answer. He told you not to make him anything special, and you kept at this. When he quit eating your food, you should have taken a hint. I think he called it exactly right. You're parading yourself as potential wife material, and you're a very thin line from being pulled into HR to talk about appropriate work behavior. You weren't bringing leftovers anymore. You were baking for a specific employee and pushing it at him. Alarms are ringing, and you owe Megan a huge thank you for cluing you in before you lost a job. Look for available males you do not work with, rather than hoping the married co-worker decides to cheat. Also, what the heck is this? Denzel is already married and we have great chemistry, but nothing has ever happened between us. I wish, lol. This is grossly inappropriate. That is a married man, and you know it. Woman, take a damn hint and stop trying to shack up with a married man who isn't interested. Poor Denzel. He tried to say no politely a whole bunch of times. He knew OP would never hear no without throwing a fit. Mad props to Megan, though, for taking one for the team and putting OP in a place. I just hope after hearing from everyone here how out of bounds that is, OP will stop. Or not, but HR is there for that. My oldest recently started a job as a busboy at a local restaurant after school. He frequently comes home with leftover food and shares it with his siblings and us. Sunday, he worked a long shift for extra pay because he didn't have school. He came home and didn't want to do his Sunday chores. He asked his younger siblings to do his chores for him because he was tired. His younger sister said no, that his being tired wasn't her problem. Finally, his younger brother agreed to do it. Last night when he came home, he would only share with his younger brother. His younger sister, Tween, said that wasn't fair because she likes the restaurant's food. My wife started to tell him to share, but before she could, I told her we needed to let the kids work out their own conflicts as long as everyone was safe and not get involved. In the end, our oldest son didn't share with our daughter and she was very upset. She refused to eat dinner, saying that the food her mother and I made was gross. My wife said I was an idiot and encouraged our son to dangle the privileges of his age over his siblings' heads. I think it was a good lesson on how doing nice things for others pays off in the end, personally. Not the idiot, I like your approach, but your daughter needs a reality check. She does not get to call the food you and your wife make gross because she's cranky about not getting the restaurant food. She needs to learn a thing or two about misdirected anger and its consequences. I don't think your eldest was wrong to only share with your younger son when he helped him with his chores. However, I am a little unsure about him not wanting to do his chores due to working late at his job. It's inherently unfair for him to prioritize his paying job over his share of the household upkeep, then foist his chores on younger siblings. You and your wife need to be on the same page so the kids don't pick sides with you. A united front is essential. Disagree, you are the idiot, OP. Your son expected his younger sister to do his chores because he was tired. When she said no, he punished her for not doing his chores by withholding the restaurant food. You're siding with the bully and telling his victim she should be nice to him. Hard disagree, this is in no way bullying. He asked her to help him do his chores. Expected would have been if he had told her to do them. The food is a perk of his job, not something the sister or parents pay for. It's not bullying, it's a trade, and she decided not to participate. Withholding the restaurant food? Yes, she's clearly going to starve without that restaurant food. LOL.